All right, today we're gabbing with Jarett Wieselman, whose stuff you have absolutely seen on Twitter or Threads or Instagram, somewhere on social media. He's a total pop culture and reality TV connoisseur, and he's here to take part in the second Gabbing with Gib mock reality TV draft. This time, we're going to cook up our dream Traitors season 3 cast. Second season is still happening, but the third season just got confirmed. So, Jarett, thanks so much for doing this. How are you?
I'm so excited. I'm so good. I feel like these are the moments I was made for, and this is all I've been wanting to do since you texted me.
Alexa, play Billie Eilish. What was I made for? Right here. And this
Yeah,
is your
yes,
answer.
that's extremely me.
Okay, so this fever dream of a second season, it was a departure from the first because they went exclusively with reality TV
Yeah,
and some random celebrity people, but they basically completely shut out the normies. It was kind of, there was like a
yes.
third of the cast last season. What did you make of that decision when it was initially made and like how it's shaken out in the second season?
Well, I was thrilled, honestly, because I don't like when you have a mix of normies and reality television or celebrities. I think
Yeah,
it puts the normies at a disadvantage. And I think if you look at season one, listen, Suri played a flawless game regardless. But I think an advantage was these people were enamored by her from seeing her on
right.
Survivor for so many years that and she was able to use that against them. I think what's been really cool about season two is it's almost like other people's reality television experience is being used against them. So it's no longer a positive like it was for Suri. It's a negative like it is for Parvati and Dan.
Right, totally. And I think I've said this before on this podcast, but like I also think that it at the end when Suri had that triumphant moment, it had this like essence of like
Yeah.
sadness because the other people were so butthurt
Yes.
about it. And it was like, I don't
Yes.
want that to be an element of this at all.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I feel like it's like you kind of got to know what you're there for, and because here's the other thing too. The normies, I mean, is it fine to say that? Is that pejorative? I don't know.
Yeah,
The
that's what I've been saying. And
normies,
there's
I know, no,
everyone
me
says it
too.
differently.
I know. But the normies going on these shows need the money in a much different way than the reality show people do as well. I don't know. I mean, actually, I'm sure you have watched the Survivor Australia, but the first season, these people are like, I need money to not lose my home, right? And then you've got Larsa Pippen talking to them and trying to steal this money from them. And you're like, you look like such an asshole. So I think it evens the playing field from a strategic level. And you don't feel as bad watching people be duplicitous when you know they don't really need the money in the same way.
Right, right. And it's like they're probably all getting either the same or very similar appearance
Yeah.
fees now. So it's sort of like they're all sort of just in it to make good TV. And that to me is sort of
Yes.
the one of the objectives of this, in addition to, I guess, getting some extra money. But
Yeah, completely.
yeah. So I mean, and part of me like it's like we set such a high bar on this second
Hmm.
season in terms of the casting in
I
and of
know.
itself. But I'm
Yeah.
like, so like when I was sitting down to like think about this and the wheels started to turn about, okay, season 3, my first instinct was like, wait, like how are they going to outdo themselves? But then it was like, if you think for 5 seconds, you realize there are more than enough iconic reality TV people who have not been
Yes.
cast on this show or kind of any similar mashup shows. Like, did you were you thinking similarly? Were you like, okay, actually, there are like a million choices for this?
100%. And obviously going through this was really fun because I had initially like had a quick like here's all my reaction. And then I took a step back and I was like, wait, I'm like, I hadn't even thought about America's Next Top Model when I was pulling from this. I hadn't even thought about some television shows that are no longer on. And I also didn't think about people from just life.
Yeah,
I mean, I think as we're seeing with Mr. Britt this season, these people can come from anywhere.
right,
That
totally.
said, I would like to demand that US Traitors never has American politicians on it because I really am not interested in that. I cannot have Sean Spicer on Dancing with the Stars happening
No,
on my Traitors. I can't have Rob Blagojevich or whoever that other guy was on Celebrity Big Brother. Like that to me will never work. It will never
No, it will
work.
never work. To us, John is just this like random British man
A
who
hundred
he could
percent.
have been like a reality TV host for all I know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
he's just this kind of enigma, which I think
Yeah,
works. But again, I
yeah.
agree. The Dancing with the Stars treatment of politicians, I'm good. Let's protect this traitors bubble. So, okay, before we jump into it, I'm going to read some of the
Yes.
stipulations that I sent you so that people listening are
Okay.
aware.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth picking people to create our dream traitors season 3 cast. And since there are like 20-ish contestants for each season. I didn't want it just to be like a back and forth for 20 rounds. So I kind of broke it up into 4 big categories. And then so we'll go back and forth within those categories and then debrief before we move on. So we will do 5 to 6 Bravo picks each, 4 to 5 from like the Survivor Big Brother shows, 5 to 6 from other reality shows. So thinking like The Challenge, Bachelor Nation, Love Island, Netflix, any other sort of shows that came to mind. And then 3 to 4 random celebrities slash public figures. As we mentioned, we've had John, the British politician. We had Deontay this season, Marcus Jordan, Ryan Lochte was on last season. So there are some kind of those are kind of like mystery boxes, I think, for us to fill. It kind of could be anything.
Yeah.
And then those numbers are just sort of based on this season that we're watching now in terms of what the ratio was. So in each round, again, we'll take turns. And the only big rule is that we can't choose any of the same people. So once I choose somebody, you can't choose that person and vice versa. And
Okay.
those are the rules of the mock draft. So we're taking this very seriously over here.
Very seriously.
But since you're my guest, Jarett, we're going to start with
Oh,
Bravo, and I'm going to have
okay.
you kick us off in that section.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to start with Bravo, and I'm going to do one that I feel like is just the most obvious, so you can't say it first, and that would be newbie queen Monica Garcia from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I feel like if you have a show that is about people pretending to be someone they are not, the only person you must cast is the most famous non-Anna Delvey like masquerader that we've had in pop culture in the last decade. She would be perfect on the show. I think she would also get sent home first because
Yeah.
I think people would know that she is most likely lying and there's no way you can trust her, but she would be so good in that one episode.
Yeah, exactly. You know that she would make an impact right off the bat. I totally agree.
Yeah.
That seems to be the one name that's being thrown. It was thrown around like immediately even after the finale when you kind of figured that she
Right.
wouldn't be back on Salt Lake. So I think that's a great first pick. My
you.
first pick is going to be somebody from Vanderpump Rules.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Lala Kent.
Oh,
I think that
all right.
I've had this feeling about her on Vanderpump Rules in recent seasons that she's kind of like a big fish in a small pond. Sometimes it feels like she's thinking kind of several steps ahead than her co-stars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I kind of want her. I want to see her in an environment where she has to kind of play catch up, or she has to prove her worth in terms of how she's thinking strategically. And I think that she would also she wouldn't be afraid of anybody. You know what I mean? She might not stack up strategically in the end, but I think that she would make for some good roundtable. It's almost like reunion training for her in terms of future housewives. Yeah.
And let us not forget, I mean, the detective of Vanderpump Rules, she knew who everyone was cheating on. She knew who they were cheating with. She was flying them in from Miami. So that is an excellent choice.
Great. All right. Thank you. Next for you.
Okay, well, since you opened the door to Vanderpump, I'm going to go with my Vanderpump choice. And it may be controversial, but it is Stassi Schroeder. I think it is time to bring her back. I don't want her on Vanderpump. So this feels like a perfect way to have her back in our reality television universe. First of all, no one has ever wanted to be around murder more than Stassi Schroeder. I mean, she spent the entire, her engagement was in a cemetery, right? So
her birthday parties had murder themes. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, I think she would just be so excited. And I think she would really be able to use her experience in sniffing out cheating exes to apply that to her traitorous sort of uncovering. Or I'm going to be honest, I would actually like Stassi to be a traitor if she's going to be on the show, because I think she'd have so much fun with it.
I think she would be great. I think you're right. It's like she did something problematic and questionable. It's been some time. She's taken ownership of it. Give her the little bit of the Phaedra treatment where you kind of test the waters and bring her back on another show. And I think it actually would end up working well for her. All right. My next pick is going to be Lindsay Hubbard from Summer House. I need like, I don't know. I actually do think that one thing that like this season of the Traitors could have had even more of is even more big personalities. I want it to be like just stacked to the fucking roof in terms of like people who like have outsized personalities, aren't afraid of making a moment and calling people out. And Lindsay's one of those people. And again, it's kind of like a housewives in training like test for somebody like Lindsay and like Lala. So I'm putting them both in and seeing who kind of lasts longer.
I love it. I have to take my jacket off. I'm getting hot. This is so exciting. Okay. Okay. All right. I gotta have my hands free for this.
Let's fucking go.
All right. So my next Bravo pick, I'm torn between two.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say this because I think it's unexpected. Dolores Catania from Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Okay, explain.
Well, first of all, she's from New Jersey, as am I. We're used to people being murdered, so that happens a lot. So she's going to be very comfortable in this space. No, here's the thing that I love about Dolores, and I've always loved about Dolores. She's kind of a quiet housewife. She would be a quiet player on the show, but you have never seen her back down from a fight. You have never seen her not say what she's thinking, even if it is against her friend Teresa. I think about her going against Danielle when she came back to, a couple seasons ago. That was good. That was really vicious. And she has a mouth on her. I think the thing about Dolores that would be great is she won't hesitate to come for anyone if it's what she believes is in the best interest of being a faithful. Kind of similar to what happened with Larsa this season.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge Larsa fan on Miami. Loved her on Traitors, so it's almost made me like her more on Miami. Larsa's big mistake was she came from my husband in CT, which obviously you do not do. But I think, but her energy was right. The way she was kind of trying to pull people in a line was really smart. And I actually think Dolores would be much, much better at doing what Larsa started.
I agree with that, and I also think that Dolores would know when to hold back in a way that Larsa couldn't really
100%.
bring herself to do. So I think that's a great pick. I really do.
Absolutely.
All right, my third Bravo pick is I'm gonna put our first man in the
Oh,
mix,
okay.
Craig Conover. I think
Oh, love.
that I would be curious to see if Craig would end up sort of being a Peter type who like proved to
Uh-huh.
be pretty adept at picking out people and being strategic because we've seen that he sort of has a conspiracy theory brain with the tinfoil hats and stuff this season. And but it also could go more with the Kevin route where it's just sort of like aimless and not really having direction. So I'd be really curious to see what he would bring to it. I think that he'd be good at the challenges. I don't know. And I just find him to be really compelling TV. So he's my pick.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. I will. So this is my fourth, and
This
I
is your
get
fourth Bravo. Yeah. So we'll go up to you could go up to six, but at least
okay.
five.
Okay. So for my fourth Bravo pick, I am going to go very old school, and it's a show that is no longer on Bravo, but they are best known for being on Bravo,
Okay.
and that would be Tabitha from Tabitha's Salon Takeover.
Wow. A true
I know,
throwback, a
a deep
true
cut.
different era. Yeah.
Imagine her walking into every room and just eating everyone inside that room alive. Her at a round table would be appointment
Oh
television.
yeah.
Talk about somebody who is not scared of anybody. Talk about somebody who has no fear. I mean, to me, she could take over Traitors.
I would just again, it's just we have no touch point for her in the past 10 years, or you know what I
I
mean?
know,
And I
I
love, but I
know.
love that about your pick. I love that. It's like, what
Okay.
is this going to result in? All
Yeah,
right. So since we're talking bringing people back,
yeah.
um, I'm gonna go with Miss Monique Samuels from Potomac.
Oh,
I to me, she is made for TV. I loved her on Potomac. I was Team
okay,
Monique back in season 4 or 5, whatever that was. And
okay.
I now that she's I think she's either divorced or getting
Yeah,
divorced right
yeah,
now. And I don't know. I think that she's kind of in this, she's probably in an era right now where she's kind of doesn't give a fuck anymore. And not that she gave a fuck before, but she probably extra doesn't give a fuck
yeah,
right now. And I just think that she could call people out. She could be good at challenges. I think she's really, really smart. And
yeah,
again, it's one of those things where it's like we haven't seen her on TV for at this point like 4, maybe 5 years.
yeah.
So Monique's my
Okay.
my fourth pick.
Okay, well, my fifth one was going to be Candace, but now it can't be. So I feel
Well,
no,
but no, but it could be, it's the
no, I wouldn't want to do that to Candace. I do love Candace. I'm a candy gal, so I certainly would not put her in a
well, these are
castle in
different casts. These are
Scotland.
these are our different casts. So
Right. No, no, it's okay. Okay.
okay.
So for my next Bravo pick, I am going to pick Quad for Married to Medicine.
Such a good one.
I first of all, Quad is better than Married to Medicine at this point, and also this season without Quad has not been it.
I know.
That said, I love her. I think she's really funny. I think she's super smart, and I think she's also the kind of player who other players would be very drawn to. So I could see her becoming like a Peter type where she's really pulling a lot of people together as a faithful and working hard to root out the traitors.
Yeah, no, I think that she's very charismatic.
Yeah.
She's irresistible. Would love that. And she could end up being somebody who's like, I mean, this is my last Bravo pick is going to be Lisa Barlow because I need somebody who I need somebody who like probably would if she was good at it, it would surprise me. And
Yeah.
that's not a hit on her like as a person or like her intelligence or anything. I just don't think like her brain works in that
Right.
way necessarily. But like
Yeah.
I just know that she'd be good TV. I need somebody like I mean I guess Larsa ended up being good at the game, but like she also was
Yeah.
kind of just like saying shit and giving good confessional and what have you. Like I maybe we'll see that from Shrey down the line. We're seeing it from Phaedra. I
Yeah.
uh I just need somebody who's just gonna
Okay.
like we can depend on
Yeah.
to be kind of like a little bit unself-aware,
Right.
funny.
Yeah.
That's my that
Yeah.
and seeing her try to like lean into the Scotland fashion that they're clearly
I
all
was
told
gonna
to
say,
do, I think would be heaven.
I love that. I mean, we need our Delulu queen even over there.
Exactly. So do you want to do any more Bravo or do you want to move on to Survivor Big
Yeah,
Brother?
let's do it. I have
Okay, we
so
each have
many. So,
our five Bravo. So recap your five for me that you
oh
picked.
God. Okay, wait, Jesus, who did I pick? Okay, I
Okay, you
picked
did
Monica. I did Monica. I did Quad. I did
Stassi.
Right, Monica Quad. I should have written this down.
It's okay.
I,
It's
I
okay.
literally I was literally deleting them as I went, so I didn't repeat anything versus keeping track. Dolores and Tabitha. Okay,
Yes.
so mine are Monica, Quad, Stassi, Dolores, and Tabitha.
Great five. Mine are Lala, Lindsay, Craig, Monique, and Lisa Barlow.
This is already
Done.
shaping up to be a dynamic cast. I'm
Listen,
excited.
listen. You can envision the team Bravo doing well in either of those cases. I would say.
Agreed.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the Survivor Big Brother section.
Okay.
I wrote
Okay.
down a lot of names for myself here,
Yep.
and I'm since you went first in the last round, I'm going first in this
Okay.
round. I'm gonna go with a recent star for Big Brother, and that is Taylor Hale. She won
Yes.
the show. She is incredibly good at the strategy. She's very good at the social game. I think that
Yep.
she could be. I actually think that she could be a pretty good trader because I think that people would really. I think she's somebody that
Yeah.
people really like. Um, Fans would love watching her. She kind of just checks a lot of really great boxes
Yeah.
for any show, and my cast would be incomplete without her.
Yes. I love that. I think she's amazing. It's interesting, so the thing I love about Traitors is it really is like my Roman Empire because I've been watching Big Brother for 30
Yeah,
seasons. I've been
same.
watching The Challenge for 40. Like these are
Ooh.
like this is like all of my shows coming together. And so like this was really fun. And what was really interesting about watching last season and this season is I don't know that Big Brother players are actually built to be good at traders
Mm,
because if you think about what's required to be successful about Big Brother, it is about really laying low in the beginning and learning a
yes.
lot and then coming out later with that information. They're playing for 3 months. Traders is played in like 14 days. And so I think when you saw what happened with Dan and Janelle, they were both victims of playing a Big Brother game. Dan sitting back and not saying anything because he was gathering information. Everyone's like, you're being weird. But in the Big Brother house, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Janelle came out of the house and said, I knew it was Dan and Parvati all along, but I was trying to build alliances with them for later in the game. And it's like, that's not how Traders works.
No.
So for me, when I was thinking about Big Brother players, I thought about personalities, people who are going to kill a confessional, who are going to be really, really funny. And that's why my first Big Brother choice is Brittany Haynes
Uh,
from, I mean,
a
no one
classic.
is no one is better at confessionals than Brittany. She is genuinely funny. And I don't know if you watched Big Brother Reindeer Games in December.
I
She
didn't
came
watch it.
you didn't miss anything. Taylor
Okay.
was on it, but Brittany was back, and she's a much different version of Brittany now in a great way. She's like the mom of two. She still kind of loses her mind at the insanity of other players in the game. And I think in a game like Traitors, that would be so fun.
No, so fun. No, she's somebody who I would love to see get a bigger spotlight on her and
Yeah.
beyond the Big Brother world. I think that this would be a perfect opportunity for that to happen.
I agree.
All right, my second choice from this category.
Yes.
Oof, this is a really tough to do. Okay, I am going to go with a throwback Survivor villain.
Ooh, okay.
We're going Jerry Manthe from
Oh,
early Survivor.
wow.
She came back, I think, for another season at some point,
I think it
but
was Heroes Villains,
yes,
right?
heroes,
Yeah.
villains, and she proved to be a little bit less of a villain. But I kind of think that the traitors will give her an opportunity to kind of like read the writing on the wall of like this is sort of what people want from me, and for her to like lean into it again and to kind of like remind people like why she was so good 22 years ago on Survivor. She's somebody who sort of lives rent free in my head, and I kind of would love love to check back in with her, see what she has up her sleeve. Again, she could end up flopping and just kind of being a dud, who knows, but
Yeah.
like I kind of want to take a chance on some people like that because I think that some people on this season have been kind of surprises in that way.
I love that. That's great. I mean, I feel like the thing I like about Traitors is it is people who are very current, but also does give you some of
Yes.
those people you can learn to love in a different way. So I think that's an
Yeah.
awesome
And I
choice.
also think that bringing back old people like that, it's sort of like it gives the more current stars of shows or more recent kind of veterans of shows
Yeah.
a little bit of like a reality check of like, like you can still be taken down a peg or two. Like your shit still stinks. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna stick with Survivor since you opened the door. And I feel it is only appropriate that Traitors continue what it started and feature one member of the iconic Black Widow Brigade every season. We had Suri in season one, we have Parvati in season two, and it's a toss-up for me because I could go with either
Yeah, who are you gonna
Amanda
go
or
with?
Natalie. I want to go with Natalie, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I feel like we've seen Amanda's game. We know how she plays. We know who she is. Natalie feels like such a mystery in a really cool and fun way. Also, to your point, I don't know what she's been doing since, that season. Who is she now? I would like to
Right.
rediscover that. And if you remember, I mean, she was the one that got the immunity necklace when they sort of talked him out of giving it away. So obviously there's something about her that really endears herself to other people that makes them want to work with her and protect her. So I think she could be a really fun sort of X factor in the
Yeah.
season.
And I think she did like a photo shoot with Parvati recently or something like
Yes.
that. Like she
I think it,
popped up somewhere and I was like, you know
yeah.
what? You can tell that she still has some of that kind of bad bitch energy. And I think that she seems like somebody who would lean into that, given another chance to
Yeah.
be on TV. So I think that's a great pick.
Thank
All
you.
right, my third pick from this section is going to be Davon Rogers from Big Brother.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying it.
So Davon, I think is really interesting because her first season, she didn't last super long, but she was this incredibly funny presence in the house. She was pretty like she kind of didn't think before she spoke,
Right.
and that was sort of her downfall. But then she came back and she had a much better showing. She held back a little bit more and she made it further. I want to say she made it to the beginning of the jury and she had or she made it
Yeah.
further. And she proved that she kind of learned from her first round. And in addition to giving great confessional and whatever, she had the strategy in her a little bit more. She had the social game in her a little bit more. Bring her back for a third round and see if she can improve her performance even more and still
Yeah.
give us the funny, the memes, the confessional. I mean, she's pretend to be shocked. She is leaving the Big Brother house with the like leg up and
Yeah.
like shimmies over to Julie. She is, I think, an underrated kind of contributor to the online like lexicon. And I would love to see her like
Yes.
remind people of that.
I love that. I love Davon. She's fabulous.
Love.
Great choice. Okay. I'm gonna make my first choice that is purely for chaos
Okay.
and not based in strategy at all.
Bring it on.
And that is going to be Carolyn from Survivor, who made
Yes.
who made Final Three through no one's idea. But here's what I will say. I mean, Carolyn, all her tattoos, her energy, her crazy faces, like she was kind of a meme for most of the season. And I
Yeah.
think what I loved about her, and really that season overall, was you had all of these people who felt like such simple archetypes really blossom over time. I mean, Jam Jam was somebody I didn't even really care to see on my television in the beginning, and
Yeah.
then cut to me crying as he's winning. And I think what Carolyn's story that she was able to share over the season was really beautiful, and it made her make sense in a different way. That said, I think she obviously does not do well in new situations.
Nope.
Those first few days on the island, she was like, I don't know what to do, and I want some of that on Traitors.
No, I think that she would be just like this question mark for people that she's
Yeah,
like a puzzle within the game for people to figure out, and that is fun to watch.
totally.
Um, all right, so my this is my fourth from this, and I guess we could go four to five, but I think that
Yeah.
my final one I think for this is going to be a Survivor winner, but a winner who gets kind of dunked on and underappreciated in the grand scheme of things, and that's Michelle Fitzgerald. I
Oh,
Michelle is somebody who I really liked her on her season of Survivor. She ended up winning.
yeah.
I think she's a winner
Yeah.
that people again think didn't really deserve it.
Yeah.
She whatever, but she won. And I think when somebody wins Survivor, they win Survivor. That's sort of how I
Yes,
think
I
about
agree.
that.
I agree with
And
that.
she was on this second season of the Challenge USA, and she proved to be still pretty great TV. She's kind of an emotional person. Like there
Yeah.
was like a lot of fights that happened in and around her, sort of in the house outside of the challenges and stuff. And I just think that she's kind of this person that she kind of has something to prove at all times, but she kind of can't get out of her own way also. And
It's
I kind of like that dichotomy. I think that it could either again work really well for her, or it could end up really bad for her, because it's sort of like the people who don't know Survivor, like the Bravo people, would be like, oh, she won Survivor, and they would
right,
be
right.
immediately threatened by that, but she's not necessarily a threatening player.
It's true. She's had a really interesting season of the challenge on this one that's currently airing, Battle for a New
Okay,
Champion.
I
That
don't
has
watch the
been,
regular challenge. What's
yeah,
that been
yeah, yeah.
like for her? Not
I
good.
mean, I don't want to spoil it for any of your listeners, but all I will say is it's been a Michelle I've never seen before in a cool way, in a very good way. But it's interesting. I'll
Okay.
tell you. I'll
Listen,
tell you
I
off air
like
if you want to know.
interesting. I like
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. Okay. So I can be done with Survivor and Big Brother if you want
Okay.
to move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, you have
Okay.
one more, I think. I think you have a fourth one, right?
Oh, I do. Oh, right. You
Because
started.
I went
Sorry. Okay.
first.
All right. So,
Yes.
okay. So for my last Survivor Big Brother player, I'm gonna do the gays proud and nominate the only gay winner of Big Brother ever, Andy Herron, who obviously should not be the only gay winner because that's a whole other conversation for a whole
Okay.
other podcast.
Yep.
That said, he was great at the game. He is super, super strategic. He's really funny. And the thing I really like about Andy is from his social media presence since he's won the show, he's a reality television like aficionado. Like he
Totally.
understands the medium really well. And so I think he would one, really understand how to play the game, and two, understand what he as a player needed to give to make good television.
Yes. No, I think I had on my list, I didn't end up saying that person, but Johnny
Yeah.
Cochran. It's sort of I think the strategy
Yeah.
person who
Right.
comes off maybe not as an obvious threat because they're not like physically imposing, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a great pick. And he has a great Twitter presence for people listening. He does a lot of
Yeah.
good commentary. All right, cool. So let's move on to other reality shows. Again, this is a pretty
Okay.
big catch-all category, but
Yeah.
as we've seen on the past few seasons, they'll pull from kind of a variety of
Anywhere.
places. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think that this kind of opens it up even more for us. So again, it's your turn to go first. That we're doing three to four
Okay.
from this round.
Okay.
I think I might go four since we've gone
I got
lower on the
I
other
got
two.
plenty.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
plenty. All right. All right. So for my first reality show TBD person, I'm going to choose Selling Sunset alum Christine Quinn.
Ah,
First of all, we need the fashion. We need Alan Cumming might be a little gagged when he sees what Christine brings to Scotland, Ireland, wherever, Scotland. I just think, and also she's an incredible personality. She's
hmm.
really smart, very cutting, very strategic, and kind of cool as hell.
Yeah.
So I think she would really bring a lot to the show. And I miss seeing her on my television. I don't miss seeing her on Selling Sunset, but I miss seeing her on my television.
Yeah, I think she's an interesting one because towards the end of Selling Sunset, we got sort of like a
Yeah.
disengaged, like,
Yeah.
she was outcast from the group and it wasn't the Christine Quinn that we like initially fell in love with. So this would give her the opportunity
Exactly.
to kind of reverse that image. Great pick.
Yes.
Okay, my first pick for other reality shows is Carson Kressley, who
Oh
is
my God.
Queer Eye, but also Drag Race, but also just
Yeah.
kind of a celebrity. But I put him in the reality category because that's sort of where we see him most.
Yeah.
He just to me is one of the funniest people to ever be on TV. He makes me laugh everything he does. He could kind of be an accidental person who makes it far because I don't think that people would be threatened by him. But he's
Yeah.
also a smart guy. He's very witty and he could be a more outsized Sheree in terms of, and Sheree sort of accidentally making it to the end. I think Carson could accidentally make it far. And
I could see
again, I
that
think he's
too.
kind of that magnet personality that people would love to just kind of like gossip with, and maybe
Yeah.
they tell him too much information.
Yeah. I love that. He's great. Yeah. I had a couple of Drag Race people, but you made me think of someone else. So I think for my next one, yes, I think because she really is reality television at the end of the day, and there is no medium there is no genre without this person, and that is Tiffany Pollard, aka New York.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
given.
institution. It's crazy she wasn't asked to be on this season, to be honest with you. Maybe because she was filming House of Villains already. I'm unclear. All I know is I cannot and I will not go into a third season without her in this world, without her on my television. I mean, she speaks for herself. I don't even need to defend it. I could have just said her name and walked away, and that's what I'm
Exactly.
going
Listen,
to do.
she wore sunglasses for 99% of House of Villains, and I would love that same behavior on the Traitors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. She's somebody we checked in with, and she proved to be great
Yeah,
TV
still
still.
perfect. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So my next person from another show, Tiffany was on my list, so she is off. Um, okay, I'm gonna go with. Hmm. This is so hard. Okay, I'm gonna go with Rachel Lindsay, who is a former
Oh,
Bachelorette. She is
okay.
also, I guess, in the kind of the Andy vein from Big Brother. She commentates on reality TV, mostly
Yeah.
Bravo stuff. So it's not, she doesn't
Hmm.
really know the competition realm as much as far as I'm aware. But she is incredibly smart. She's a lawyer. Like she would study up, I think that she would
Yes.
come from an informed place. I think that she would know she's not necessarily somebody who's an obvious like outsized personality at first. I think she would hold back a little bit. And I've
Hmm.
picked a lot of big personalities on my list, so I need somebody who's a little bit more reserved and knows how to pick a moment. And that is Rachel to me.
I love that. I'm not a big Bachelor person, but I did watch her moderate a bunch of panels at BravoCon. What a star. What
She's
a
the best
star.
moderator that was at BravoCon, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Love that. All right. I'm going to dip back into my challenge roots for the next choice.
okay.
And it was tough because there's not just the challenge, there's also the real world and road rules and all of that. But I think for this show, you can't have somebody who has only done like one or two seasons, right? Because there's so much complexity involved, and you can't just be, a faceless person in a crowd of
Right.
traitors and playing. So I'm going to choose the Wes Bergman for my next choice in this draft. I think
Okay.
what's interesting is Wes brings a lot of the same qualities that Johnny Banana does, right? He's incredible at challenges. He's very braggadocious, and he's also super strategic. The difference is Wes doesn't have the baggage of a Johnny Bananas. He doesn't come in with sort of that persona and like everyone, like I don't think people know who he is the way they know who Johnny Bananas is.
Sure.
And I think it would help Wes actually last longer because I don't think people would see him as a target as quickly because he also knows that you can't come in day one being the guy who, I mean, how many seasons of The Challenge or House of Villains have I watched where on day one, Johnny Bananas has a bottle of champagne. He's making everyone do a toast, making himself the center of attention. He did it here too. It's one of his go-to tactics, and that's great. But it doesn't keep you around on a show like this. It puts a target on you way too early. And I think Wes could really make it further and be even more strategic.
Yes. Oh, that's a great pick. That is a really great pick.
Okay.
Okay, my third in this category is going to be Someone we've seen on several reality shows over the years, no competition shows, Kristen Cavallari.
Oh, love
I
that.
I think that she would give great confessional. She would be sort of that
Yes.
bitchy energy that we know and love. She's somebody who never changed in that capacity. Like back on Laguna Beach, she was like, the bitchy popular girl. She played into
Hmm.
that, but she's continued to sort of dip her toe into that on every show we've seen her since.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes dip into the Laguna Beach podcast that they do, which she does with Steven. Like she still has that incredible energy and that incredible personality that I think we all fell in love with 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I also think she's really competitive. She's a really competitive
Yeah.
person. She's played the fame game incredibly well.
Yeah.
And I just think that she's really savvy. And I think that she doesn't necessarily get credit for that. And I think it'd be really interesting to see her in this new competition-y environment and just kind of see what happens. Will she float or will she sink? And I think that she might float, honestly.
I,
She'd be a good
I
traitor, actually.
She would be a great trader, yes. And according to Lauren Conrad, she's been one since high school. But I think
No, you didn't.
no, no, I love that choice. I think Kristen's such an interesting personality in that world.
Yeah.
Okay. For my fourth pick. Oof.
Mm,
So I'm gonna say who I'm gonna say,
okay.
and it's sort of similar to one that you already had, but it's different, but it's the same, but it's different. And that is Michelle Visage.
Mm,
I know it'd be weird to have two drag race panelists on the season, but I think Michelle's almost like so much more than that in a totally different way from Carson. The thing that I love about Carson that I think you're talking about is sort of that likability, that
yes.
everymanness, that real kind, just genteel energy. The thing that I like about Michelle is what she's amazing at on the show. She will be like, your face is fucked, and here's why, and here's how to fix it. Right. So I
Hard
love that
truth.
yeah, exactly. And I think you need someone like that on the season. I think you need someone to, in those roundtables, to be like a similar kind of to Kate, like that kind of energy. Like, when Dan was playing the whole, you didn't like my burgalicious. Like that would be Michelle. She's like, this is the
Yes.
argument you're bringing to the table to explain why I'm a traitor. Like it would just the argument would be really fiery, and I think she would be really, really dangerous in this game.
Mm. That's a really good one because people would trust Michelle. People would
Right?
trust her.
Yeah. I
Yes,
mean, I think so.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think I think they would. All right, my final one from this
Yes.
category. Okay, this is kind of a random pick,
Love it. Good.
but she's proven to me to make really great TV on the most recent seasons of Selling Sunset, and that is
Okay.
Amanza.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just explain. So Amanza to
Please.
me was never really she's never really been my favorite person on that show. She's never been the
Uh-huh.
most obvious star on that show, but she's had some staying power. And she
Yeah.
has actually, to me, risen in the ranks in terms of, her impact on that show and sort of how she
Hmm.
moves things around. And to me, that speaks to her willingness and her ability to be produced. And I think that
Yeah.
she is
Yeah.
willing to
Oh,
come into a
okay.
scenario and the producer was just in her ear being like, we got to bring this up. And she's like, you know what? I'm fucking game. This past season of Selling Sunset, she brought up a million things at those dinner tables. And you know what? Maybe we need somebody to walk into that room. And when Peter asks them to leave, she says, fuck no, I'm not going to leave because I want to bring this
Yeah.
up. And I think I have other big personalities on there, but they're more kind of strong-willed and they're going to do what they want. Amanda will do whatever the producers tell her to do, and that's how I think about her. And that's who my pick is.
I mean, that's interesting. Listen, I'm not going to
Yeah,
be mad at it. I feel like, and listen, the looks would be good. I mean, her fashion this season was insane.
beyond. Yeah. All right, you've done four from this category, I believe,
Okay.
right? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
our
Yes. Yes.
final group is
Yes.
the
Ugh.
biggest potential group. Random
Yeah.
celebrities or public figures. You know,
Yes.
um, since I'm going first, I'll just kind of explain. I kind of went with people that were actually gettable. I'm not going to
Okay.
say like
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pop star or
Angelina
like,
Jolie
yeah,
or something
exactly.
like
Like
that. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people saying some really ungettable names on Twitter last week when
Yeah.
Traitors was renewed. So I tried to
Yeah.
go with people that would actually you
Say
could actually
yes.
see on the show.
Okay.
Um, okay, so my first pick
Yeah.
is gonna be Ooh, and I'm gonna go with three from this category, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Cody Rigsby, who is the
Okay.
Peloton instructor. He is kind of a rising star just in general. He's a personality. He has like kind of like a feistiness to him, and I don't think we've ever really seen him in this environment before. And it would be, I think that he would be one, well liked and popular within the faithfuls, or make a good traitor, and really good at the challenges. Obviously, I don't know. I just think that he
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be
I
pretty
like
good at
that.
this.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, yeah, I'm not, I know him from Dance, right? Dancing with the
He was on
Stars. He
Dancing with
was
the
on.
Stars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Super cool. I love that choice.
Okay.
Okay. So my first choice is has been on reality television, but is not a reality television person.
Fine. Yep.
She is an actress. She is a comedian. She is a podcaster. She is brilliant, and that is Nicole Byer.
Ah, great one.
Now, I just think that energy in that space would be infectious. It would be so wonderful. She's so smart and charismatic, and I think also a fan of the genre. So she would be good at a lot of the strategy and understanding people's like motivations. And frankly, I just want to see Nicole in more things and have her have more of like a higher profile. I think this would be a
Yeah,
great space to move her to the next level.
totally. That's a really great pick. All right, my second in this category. Um, oof. Okay. This is another curveball. I think a lot of these will probably be
Okay.
curveballs for both of us. I'm
Okay.
going. Okay, I'm going to go with Andy Roddick, who is a former tennis player.
Okay. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
very Twitter active. He kind of says shit that people are thinking about politics, about tennis. He cuts through the bullshit. I think my cast doesn't have enough straight male energy, and I think that I'm kind
Uh-huh.
of, I have a lot of the girls and I have some gays, but I have Craig. So I think I need somebody else that kind of that is in that realm who's going to be hyper
Yeah.
competitive, kind of bring that. I do think that there's that something that you see a lot at like the round tables is this sort of like macho-ness that comes out of some of these
Hmm.
men. And I think that
Yeah.
I don't love that energy, but I also think it like creates a nice like counterbalance to some of like the campiness that some of the housewives and stuff
Yeah.
like that bring. So I think he'd be a nice balance for my cast and he'd probably be pretty good. So that's my pick.
I I like that. That's good. I don't know a lot about him, but I think that would be really fun. I like that. Okay. My next pick is again, I swear I'm not just picking people who were on reality television, but are not reality television
Uh-huh.
stars.
Uh-huh.
But
Sure.
I mean, this is a businesswoman, this is a mogul, this is an icon, and it is Kelly Cutrone, the head of
Uh,
publicity for People's Revolution, who you
an
know from
icon.
the an icon. You know her from The Hills. You know her from America's Next Top Model. You know her from Hell on Earth. But in reality, like this is somebody who did all of those things to support her fundamental goal, which is being an amazing business person. I mean, you think Kate Chastain has zero fucks to give? Like,
Hmm.
meet Kelly Cutrone. I can't imagine her doing a single challenge and being happy about it. But I think watching her strategize in this way would be hypnotic.
Hypnotic is
Yeah.
correct. And it just just watching her pushing a boulder up a hill or something would
Hello.
be
Without
oh
minions. You know what I mean? Like
that would
without like all the assistants to do
please.
it instead.
She'd be on the walkie-talkie telling people what to do. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this is my last pick. This is my third in this
Okay.
category.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with somebody that one of your picks made me think of.
Okay.
He is scratching the British box itch that
Okay.
I think John has scratched this season. And that is
Okay.
Gemma Collins, who is the
Yes.
infamous kind of, enemy of New York Tiffany Pollard. And
Yes.
somebody lied to her several times, but I still think that she is one of those personalities that she's kind of like the British like Trisha Paytas in a way. She's kind of like
Yeah,
is always
totally.
around, like she's always like saying something, doing something in the Daily Mail for some sort of reason, and she's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And I just think that why not throw her in there? She'll be
I
a total
love that.
enigma. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. Trisha was also someone I was like, do I, don't
I
I
know.
don't
She's a
know.
little
But
too
no,
chaotic, I think, for
I,
me,
I
but
agree. I think Gem is the better way to get at the same
yeah,
essence of chaos.
yes, yes.
Okay. Oof. All right. God, I have like five. Okay. For my final pick, I'm going to tap into just something that was deeply important to me in my childhood, a
Okay.
person who was extremely influential, but who also still has like gorgeous relevance today. And my final pick is going to be Paula Abdul.
Oh,
I, I think
absolutely.
I think just the little hint of Paula that I got when Ari released her music video, right, which obviously references Cold Hearted Snake, which obviously references, other things. It was nice. It felt nice to like have her in the my periphery again, and I kind of want a little more. Obviously, you know, she would probably be a little mystified, I think, by everything going on. But I think the thing is, she'd be game for all of it. I think you would find her like giving
Yeah.
her all in challenges and being so earnest about what was actually happening that I think her sort of pure hearted energy would be kind of lovely.
She would have a heartbreaking moment. She would be crossed by
Yes,
somebody on your cast. She
I
would be left, she
know.
would be, stepping out from that round table, giving a little speech, and then be like, I'm unfaithful. Yep.
I
Paula would
know,
be,
it's true.
she'd be like the emotional core of your season, which I think would be really, every season has to have that. Oh
Yes,
my
I think so
gosh.
too. These are great. I'm
These are
excited.
fun. These are so fun. Is there anybody from your list that you that stands out to you as like, okay, they should be some of my traders?
For sure. I mean, I definitely feel like I would love for Stassi to be a trader. I think she
Yes,
would be really
totally.
strong trader. Weirdly, I think Nicole Byer would be an interesting trader, kind of
Hmm.
unexpected, and I think she would be able to continue to win people over with her personality, and they would never think it was her. And then my third, I mean, part of me wants to say Carolyn because that's just crazy, but no, I think I think my third trader would be. Ooh, you know what? I think my third trader would be Brittany Haynes, and I'll tell you why.
Mm,
I think she would give very like poverty energy in terms of like, gotta kill you, it's what it is. Like I think she'd be very matter of fact about the business at hand, and she would have no emotions at play in what she had
hmm
to do, which I think would
mm.
make her very under the radar because I think the people who are kind of too obvious are the ones who have those big energy shifts, and I don't think she would have that.
Yeah. Okay. Those are good traders. So it's
Thank you.
okay. Stassi, Brittany, and Nicole.
Yes.
That's great. That's a great trio. I think my traders would be. I think I would want. Oh, okay. I think I would want somebody who's really likable and might be an
Uh-huh.
unexpected. So I think I would
Yeah.
want Carson as one of my traders, Carson
That would
Kressley,
be fun. That would be
because
so fun.
I think that people would just trust him and not think that he has it in him.
Right.
I think I would like, you know, I kind of want like Kristen Cavallari to be one of my traders. I think that she
Here
is
for it.
also, again, yeah, it's kind of obvious, but like also not because she's not a competitive, she's not a competition person. And then for my third, to really give her the chance to prove herself again in this third go round, it'd be Davon because I think
Okay.
that yeah, because I want to see her in that turret. I
Yeah.
want to see her. I want her and Kristen to have some moments like kind of
Yeah.
my Phaedra and Parvati, and
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
there they are.
I love it. I think I'm excited. I mean,
Me too.
I'm
No, this is so fun. It's just fun to again get the wheels turning. We're putting those
yes.
ideas out there. If any of
Yes.
these people end up on season 3 of The Traitors, you have us to thank.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is really fun. Thanks for doing this.
Are you kidding me? This was so exciting. Thank you so much for asking
Yeah,
me
of course,
anytime.
of course. And do you have anything you want to plug before we sign off?
I mean, watch traders? No.
Follow Jarett on
No.
social media. Truly, like he has some great commentary. He's
Thank
always kind of
you.
the first on the beat and a really great
Terminally
follow.
on terminally online is the expression I think they use. But yes, you can follow me at Jarett Says.
Awesome. Well, Jarett, we'll talk again soon and see you for season 3.
See you for season 3.
Bye. I want to gab.